Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. This is episode 120, recorded on the 20th of December 2017. My name's Lewis Pugh, and joining me to talk all things Nintendo, we have Harrison Milfeld.
Hi, and don't worry, you won't see any Last Jedi spoilers here, so, hi.
Please continue to keep listening and watching. And we also have a Colin Crompton.
Hey, Colin Crompton. Hello, yes, there's one of me, I guess. Yeah, hey. Yeah, no spoilers for me. I have not seen it. Although I do know spoilers.
You got spoiled by somebody who...
I got spoiled in, like the first person. One of my friends went to see it and was like, I'm going to tell you everything that happens. Like, no! And, yeah.
I feel like I am definitely in a position of weakness here. We've got Harrison over there who has actually seen Star Wars, and Colin who knows the juicy bits, and I'm even awaiting to see it. So one wrong move by myself, and this show could go horribly wrong.
Oh, no. Okay, one thing I took to Twitter on the weekends is, like, after when everybody saw the movie, everybody was, like, rushing to, like, this is my ranking of all the Star Wars movies and everything like that, and it was kind of getting out of hand, and I took it upon myself and said, like, you know what? This is the Star Wars ranking everybody should be really talking about, and I just listed the top 9 like Star Wars games, and of course, number 1 being Knights of the Old Republic, and number 2 being Rogue Squadron 2. So, I did include Episode 1 Pod Racer just because I have
because it's a great game.
Episode 1 Pod Racer is the best thing the prequels have ever given us. So yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's another thing out there that was pretty well.
Episode.
It's definitely pod racing.
What else is there?
Well, Factor 5 did Battle for Naboo. That was a precursor, I believe, to Rogue Squadron.
That is true. Yeah.
But the more I kept putting together that list, I had Dark Forces and I had TIE Fighter and such, whatever. But all I kept thinking was, man, I miss LucasArts so much. I really do.
They were good. They were good before they became the Star Wars factory. They made some great games back in the day.
Oh yeah, they
love good old PC adventure games.
Yeah.
Monkey Island, all that. It was great.
Yeah.
However, not many of them came out on the Nintendo. But we do have lots of Nintendo stuff to talk about today. We have a little bit of what we've been playing. We have our Nintendo news, and feature for the week is we're having a review on all things Nintendo 2017, and we're going to have a little look forward into what we may see in 2018, obviously just around the corner as well. And we've got a bit of a soft announcement. We've got some changes coming up in the new year. We're going to do some new things for the show, a bit of new formatting, some new changes on the Patreon as well. And then that's a good as time as any. If you do enjoy the show, please do check out patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. And you'll see some changes over there as well soon as well. But shall we jump straight into some what we've been playing? Because I kind of want to get this one off my chest.
Oh no.
I've been playing a lot more Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Okay. All right.
Has anyone got any objections to me doing an update?
No, at all. I'm intrigued.
Now my game clock at least is now in triple digits.
Okay. So is that the clock that's unreliable?
Yes.
Right.
The Wii U, not the
Wii U.
Not the Wii U. The Wii U doesn't have anything to say about it. The Switch clock.
That'd be great.
Different
track of your time in Xenoblade 2.
It's getting very jealous. The whole family situation is very confusing currently. But no, I've spent a lot more time in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I must be very near the end now.
Oh, wow.
Definitely story-wise.
Do you feel it peaking?
Definitely feeling it peaking.
Cool, okay.
Which is awesome. I mean, this, like the original game, or even more so, I've been very impressed with how this story has developed from the original premise. And don't worry, like Star Wars, this discussion is going to be very spoiler-free. Very loose terms here.
I'd say good, because I have between all the screen caps that I've seen through Twitter or even through any various parts of social media, I'm glad I'm seeing some out of context stuff. Whatever. I mean, the one that we had for our thumbnail past episode was Pyra, sipping tea, which I'm reminded of that Kermit the Frog sipping tea meme that has on there. So, but I'm just glad.
I'm just seeing, yeah. But yeah, I really like how everything escalates. Like a lot of your assumptions and so on are questioned in interesting ways. But yeah, the gameplay itself is solid. Assuming you like that combat system that they've been using since the original game. It does, I think, more so than the original game. How much I played on X was not that much. But in 2, they do seem to keep, adding things to that system. It does keep things interesting, as it were. It's not just, here's the battle system near the beginning of the game, and then you kind of left alone to play around.
I kind of would have liked the battle system to be more involved, as in, you don't auto-attack, but you push a standard button to attack. Kind of like Kingdom Hearts. You know how that battle system works? I think that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it is fairly active in that sense, because you do have... it depends on like how fast your arcs charge and how your character attacks. But if you line up the animation of your character's attack with when your art is ready, you get a boost out of it. You get a visible effect. And so you do kind of have to keep on top of that. But as it keeps introducing new systems, you want to be changing your blades out. And there's extra systems later on in the game which go beyond that as well. And so it does kind of keep you on your toes. And like any good RPG, you will get bosses where you can exploit, very particular weaknesses, but you have to reform your team to do so. And so there's a lot of effort like outside of battle and inside of battle as well. But I've been talking to a friend who's also been playing Chronicles 2, who has a very different approach to the game, which I think is more traditional, which is, you actually, when you arrive at a town, you actually actively seek out the quests around there and you achieve them, opposed to how my play style, which is just running to the next mark on the story, as it were, just because it's kind of how I usually play these sort of big games. Is I do just like the adventure, and I do appreciate games which let you do that, opposed to next part of the story is over here, but you're now way under leveled, so get grinding. There's not much of that in Chronicles 2. There's been a couple of places, literally a couple, where I've had to say, all right, take a step back here. I'm going to have to raise my level.
I am not strong enough yet. Yeah.
But considering the amount of time I've spent in the game and how far I'm in it, I think that's pretty good going. And so I do like how it does support that sort of play style. If you want to just play this for the story, and it's a fantastic story. I mean, I've not finished it yet, but it should be finished for the Voicey Awards on our next show, actually.
Oh, a little hint towards the future
there.
A
little hint there. It carries on in this trend. Good things.
So
from the story.
No spoilers, but this story compared to the other
straight face.
1 far is the stronger story.
2 compared to 1.
Yeah.
Already, I would say 2 is better.
Okay, fair enough.
And to be fair, the ending of the first game had a lot to do with how I finally thought about that game as well.
Right. Okay.
How it wrapped up.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it's leagues beyond the first game, and I was very impressed with the first game. And that's in the narrative side of things.
Are we including X in this whole thing, or is this just a base? I don't know. I feel like with X's story,
not for me. I didn't get that far into X, so I was including their story.
Again, like I said, the twist in X that was. I'm not saying it's ranked up there as one of those big twists, but it was again where it's like, oh, your avatar. Cool. It just.
I liked it.
I know. I legitimately said, like I said it before the show. I'm like, oh wow, I did not see that coming. But then again, I thought it should have been knowing myself, because when you look at their eyes, it's like,
yeah.
and that's the thing I kind of like about this design when you see with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is that it's a much well. There's a lot more expression with them. Again, like I said, they don't look like plastic dolls, is what I'm saying. But,
no, definitely. And it still has those cool moments, like in the first game, when you do have the heart-to-hearts, where it's not technically part of the story, or at least not the main story, but it does, it does build up the characters, and you do have these genuinely funny moments, which is quite rare in video games nowadays, in my opinion, at least. Like, just have these genuine, like, heartwarming, funny moments. They seem to be quite rare. But they're much appreciated by me.
Yeah. Now, one thing when you're finding, because there's many blades that you can find in this game. I'm assuming that there's almost a limitless amount that you could probably look at there. But one piece of advice I did hear from people who were playing this is like, hey, if you are if you have these like generic blades or something like that, keep them, because apparently there's some portion of the game as far as puzzle solving or how to reach something, you need those blades to get through an obstacle.
That is a very good point. I mean, I've not got to a point where I've even needed to like disregard blades, but I do have quite a lot of them. But yes, even if you're not using blades in combat, it's good to have them around because they have things called field skills, and these are things like they're kind of like hate gems in Pokemon games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool.
But they have a leveled stat for a skill. And it could be, and you're introduced very early on with Pyra, who is able to like burn certain obstacles in our path. Like there's a giant log very, very early in the game, and Pyra burns through it because she has this like fire skill. And then later on, you'll have something which requires like, say, a fire skill of level, say, 3 or 4.
So a bigger log.
Maybe a bigger log. And it might, and one of your options is to level up Pyra's skill. And the way you would do that is in her skill tree, you will look at the part which is to do with the fire ability. But it's not just about leveling up the character. It will say, oh, you need to do this thing. Like you have to win like this battle against this monster, or you have to give Pyra her favorite item or something.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Or the other way you can do it is if you had, say, 4 other blades with a level 1 fire skill, altogether you could get through like level 5.
With our powers combined, we can get through this log.
So if you have lots of these blades, even if they have just level 1 skills in numbers, if you equip the right combination, you can get through certain of those puzzles.
But overall, though, I mean, you said you're getting close to the end. Would you also say that it doesn't feel as too grindy as, like, say, Xenoblade Chronicles X?
I can't comment too much on X. I can compare it to the first one. There's playing 1 and 2 in similar play styles, which is just, I want to get through the story. I want to get through this adventure because it's a really interesting world. I've done less grinding, less deliberate grinding in 2.
Okay.
By a fair bit, I think. I think in the original there was a few places where I did have to go, oh, okay, I'm going to have to fight a bunch of monsters. And deliberately.
I very much felt the same. Yeah, there's areas where it's like, I've hit a brick wall here. I need to be stronger to bust through it, or like craft gems and rearrange equipment or something like that. But yeah.
So. But yeah, you get plenty of options in this game. And that's probably understating it. There's a bunch of systems that I can see how it could be intimidating for certain people, but I really do want to stress it's such a fun adventure just to go through, and like this kind of roller coaster of a journey that you do. It's it's not as simple as the premise will let you to believe, and me saying that is no spoiler in itself because it just goes crazy with it. So me saying that won't blow your expectations. So. I've seen some things in this game so far, and knowing how the first game ends, I'm really interested how this one does as well. And so
Lewis is playing it right now. You just can't see it.
Almost. I would be far too distracted otherwise. It's there. It's at hand.
As soon as the podcast ends, he's like,
the minute this ends,
it's all over it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my Chronicles 2 update. Has anyone else been playing anything they would like to?
I have I have not, and that's not because of just. It's not because of laziness. It's just when you've got work and everything out there. It's like I said, I'm trying to go through Xenoblade Chronicles on my 3DS, and I haven't been able to play in about a week and a half because it's like you're in the middle of the busy season at the point of work right now, and then with the holidays and Christmas and whatnot, it's just like I just need a breather right now. And then of course we're doing this right now, so I'm my whole mind is now just been focusing on the news of the industry and this. So nothing at the moment right now. I apologize, listeners, but you will probably see me more in the new year. Trust me, when I get more time to play. Actually, no, I did. No, I would say that I barely even played that. So, but anyway, go on.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing very little. Kind of the only thing I can really talk about is Rogue Squadron, really, on the GameCube. I kind of went back to that in the height of all things Star Wars.
It's a very topical thing.
Very topical. Honestly, I've just been going back and trying to get like gold medals in which the jump between getting bronze to silver is like a small step. From silver to gold in most levels, it's a heck of a jump. Like there's one stage where you have to take down a Star Destroyer, and they want you to finish the mission for a gold in like just over a minute, and like that's it. And you got to just destroy like 92 enemies, and I'm like, are you kidding? In a minute? It's impossible. Well, it's not impossible, so you can be done. But the challenge is insane. It really is. Yeah, that's about it, really. The only thing I did notice is when I finished the game, this kind of blew my mind, but the booklet in the game was written by one Jeff Keighley.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, he wrote the instruction manual?
He wrote the instruction manual. Yeah. a nice little facts there.
I'm double checking that. Wow.
The credits. I was like, oh look, it's Jeff Keighley. Yeah. Bizarre. So
also quite topical.
That's my adventures in Star Wars.
And I think.
I will say the Millennium Falcon is the worst vehicle in that game.
Oh yeah, it easily is.
It's horrendous. You unlock the mission where you go through the asteroid field, and in like the intro to the mission, it's doing these flips and stuff, and then like. And all these like spins and things. You can spin the vehicle by holding the Z trigger, but it rotates like so slowly compared to how they're doing it. Like, I'm just a big target, and it has like no acceleration. Oh, it's awful. But yeah.
Yeah, you were right. He was a manual writer for Rogue Squadron 2, and he also did Jedi Knight 2. Wow. That is something I did not. Wow, did not know. Huh.
Yeah, I saw his name go off. I was like, really? Oh, wow, okay, yeah. So.
Yeah, I again, that was one of the first big, again, I go back and forth between, well, not go back and forth, but I noticed that Rogue Squadron 3 was kind of a bit of a letdown because I felt like a lot of the on-foot missions kind of just felt a little bit forced and unnecessary, but even when you had a lot of the good missions on there, they were really well. Like for instance, when you're controlling an ATST on the Battle of Endor,
cool.
or even when the bike, or even the speeder bikes, those are really good missions to actually have. But I'm just glad that it was able to kind of recreate those great moments from the original trilogy, but also add these new little missions that are obviously no longer canon. Knowing that I get the point, but still, it's just I did have it. It was amazing to me, how well that was put together when you had at that time, and just to see things. I did find. I mean, I commend Factor 5. And since they're no longer here anymore, is that they did a masterful job on there, and I just really do kind of, And
it's a really impressive like trilogy of games done on the N64. I feel like Rogue Squadron is the most impressive out of the three. Again, Rebel Strike is not a bad game, but yeah, the on-foot sections, because it still feels like they're flying, kind of the way they turn, even though they're on foot. It feels like they take wide arcs when they turn. It's weird. But yeah, it's good. Good series.
Cool. All right, then. That covers what we've been playing so far. So let's jump straight into Nintendo news. And the first story we have is from Eiji Inuma, who has given an update on the Zelda franchise. And don't get too shocked, but the next entry into The Legend of Zelda is in development. The Zelda team is working on Zelda games.
We're not going to see anything of it for like 6 years, but yeah.
No, I forgot who it was that when they saw this name, like, oh, it's here's some news or something about this and about the new Zelda game coming in. Like, that's not news, that's common sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only difference here, though, I do joke about it, but because we do have DLC, it's not as an obvious distinction as it used to be. Because, you know, there is a dedicated, like, Zelda team as is a dedicated Mario team. And so, yet, when one game wraps up, you can only assume the Mario team it works on the next Mario game. But, you know, with DLC in place, you don't necessarily know anymore. Like, okay, is that whole team, were they working on the Zelda DLC content? Are they going to be working on more exclusively? But no.
I thought this news kind of like kicks it in the can that we're going to get any more DLC for Zelda. I think now they're going to entirely focus on the next one.
Yeah, I imagine it would have been mixed development, and now it's the whole team is on the new game.
Exactly.
I think that, well, for this, it could be anything. It could be a new Four Swords type of deal or something, experimentation. It could be. It could be probably, hey, let's send the 3DS out finally, or like say, you know, like finally
Let's take the 3DS out back and shoot it in the head. What are you talking about?
No, not that. I will say that it was wise of Nintendo to keep, you know, the 3DS chugging along alongside the Switch.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It was wise to do it, but also it was not a surprise to do so because, you know, before the Switch it started, you know, selling like hotcakes at the moment, is that, well, the fact that 3DS provides much of Nintendo's revenue right now, so it made no sense to just kill it.
No, I'm glad they kept the 3DS because they do fulfill different markets. You know, I feel like the 3DS is kind of the Switch on training wheels kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a much cheaper system and it's more robust. Like I would feel, not that I have any kids, but I would feel a lot safer giving a young kid
absolutely
a 3DS or a 2DS than a brand new Switch. But yeah, I can see it going out. I'm not sure we're going to see any new Zelda games on the 3DS. Assuming, if we make an assumption like this is going to be the next, full Zelda game, as it were. If it's not a side game, it's the next adventure. When do we reckon it will come out? Assuming it is for Switch.
Well, if this is Switch, if they're using the same engine probably from Breath of the Wild, I don't know, 3-4 years maybe. This could probably be something where they're like, hey, we changed things up again. Let's continue to change things up with this formula, or correct things that people were not so well into it. Who knows? Maybe do something with like the weapon degradation, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all for me in this game. But again, it could be anything. Like I said, it could be a sequel, another game in the vein of like A Link Between Worlds, or who knows? They could be reworking, like, well, not from the ground up. They could possibly add something like a Skyward Sword HD edition, which, of course, I'm not sure how they would do that in a post Breath of the Wild world, where people are now way more comfortable with an open world Zelda of freedom to kind of go back to that. I'm trying to think, like, would people?
I think ironically, I think Skyward Sword could kind of work because there is a bit of shared lineage.
Well, Link's right-handed in both.
Maybe that. But I mean, like, you do have like
that's the only lineage I can think of.
You do have a stamina bar.
Oh, that's true.
Swords, and you can sprint and such, and that's the only other game apart from Breath of the Wild which has it. There is some little things where they were taking steps forwards, and I think a lot of people just kind of ignored it because they never played the game in the first place. But yeah, I don't think it would necessarily be like an unplayable game after Breath of the Wild. But yeah, going back to any pre-Breath of the Wild game is going to be a step.
Definitely. I do feel like the next sort of game is going to... I'm going to just shout a date. I'm going to say 2022.
2022?
I think we'll see it in 5 years. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm the optimistic of the bunch here. I reckon that we're going to see it fairly soon. And compared to those dates, I reckon we'll see it 2019. And the reason being is because we do have Breath of the Wild on the Switch, I reckon it will be the same engine. And that alone, the same system, the same engine, that cuts a lot of time. Because they've not done that since Majora's Mask, I don't think.
That's right.
And that cuts a bunch of time. And it seems like it's a game engine, at least, which is very adaptable. Like, if you create a new world in that, a bunch of the systems you just leave alone. Like, you can set up new items for them and everything else, but the systems are already set in place. You know how the weather affects the elements, as it were, like fire and such, which can affect like the objects and all that whole cycle of thing. Like that hard work's already been done.
That's right.
And I reckon they're going to love to reuse that stuff. So I reckon
that will cut down development time by quite a substantial margin. Yeah. Honestly, I want a somewhat of a prequel to Breath of the Wild where Hyrule was alive. You know, I like the post-apocalyptic kind of setting in Breath of the Wild, but I want to see Hyrule vibrant again.
Yeah, you know my hot prediction then, not Hyrule.
Hyrule?
Maybe not. I reckon it's going to be kind of a Majora's Mask-esque game. And like they're going to go, okay, how do we make a sequel to Breath of the Wild, which isn't just like Breath of the Wild? All right, it's a new world. It can't be Hyrule. It can't be a slightly different Hyrule. So yeah, I reckon they chuck Link in a completely new place.
Can we address something quickly? Are we losing Harrison?
No, I'm still here. I'm just.
Oh, sorry, you frozen on my screen. I was like, no.
No, that's just based. No, for people who are listening, I mean, it does look like I'm freezing on the whole hangout thing.
Yeah.
No, my screen froze when you said like, "Hey, I want to go back to a prequel, whatever of this." I'm like, hasn't that technically been the norm for Zelda series, where it's like it's not necessarily a sequel, but it's like
that's true.
It's somewhere in the timeline. You know, it's like. I don't know. We haven't had a direct, well, aside from Majora's Mask, we haven't really had a direct sequel to that connection to it. And I do like Lewis's idea that we may be able to see something maybe, well, who knows where they want to go probably for maybe something that's kind of like Termina, but ends up being, it was all Dream, which that disappointed me knowing.
No, not Dream. We can't have a Dream.
No, but I mean, it's such mythical, fantastical stuff happens in Zelda. You can come up with many reasons for Link to be transported to another world, as it were, and have it explained in the universe's logic.
Yeah.
But I did have a random thought, which it could be that they take the even simpler approach. And it seems like a very un-Nintendo-like move, but no, Nintendo's been making un-Nintendo-like moves recently. What are the chances we see Breath of the Wild 2?
0.
As in, like, literally that's the title. You reckon 0?
Yeah, no chance.
That's my first one. But I started thinking, like, it might not be a bad move. Like, it's got such a big, like, with the Game of the Year awards, and just how throughout the whole year, everyone seems like really championing Breath of the Wild. Could they just go Breath of the Wild 2 and have after the events of Ganon and start, or like 100 years later after that point?
I think we could get Breath of the Wild 2, but it won't be called Breath of the Wild 2. I feel like
Breath of the Wild subtitle. Now, I'm reckoning like you could have a game Breath of the Wild in time.
I thought Breath of the Wild was already a pretty long, like, title in itself.
Well,
that'd be insane.
Don't we also have to see like if they do the same engine, but then again, okay, do we want to say that the Champions Ballad is this probably the last of the DLC we're getting for Zelda, or do you think we're probably going to get something surprise? Because I'm still under the impression that Mario Odyssey will get future DLC down the line. I really am convinced that will happen.
Yeah, I think we've seen the last paid DLC for Breath of the Wild. We might see something random in, like they did for Xenoblade 2, and like chuck in a costume for something, or something along those lines. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have any more DLC paid packs for Breath of the Wild.
I can see. I don't think there'll be any huge. I mean, they might announce. The only thing I can see them doing is they'll announce a second expansion pass that you have to buy. Ooh. I can't see them being like in the same expansion pass. Be like, hey, have some more free DLC before we got the expansion pass is free.
They wouldn't do that.
They'll be like, "Oh, Expansion Pass 2 is out now. You get this with it." Yeah, I kind of I think Breath of the Wild's pretty much done with at this point. I mean, maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I mean, like I said, with this news now, it's no shock that they're developing, obviously, but it's just a matter of like gives an excuse of like, well, what could they be doing? But then again, all it takes is another quote from probably Eiji Aonuma or anybody else to say like, hey, we may be doing this. I mean, again, remember when we actually decided they were going to do an open format, destroy the redo the conventions of Zelda, and look what we got instead. Look what we got.
So yeah. I mean, we'll see. But yeah.
All right. So next piece of news is on the mobile front. We have a new update for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and it features all-around gardening. And so the new update, which I'm not actually sure is out yet. Is this new update out yet? It comes out. It was teased last week. Comes out soon, shall we say? Either way, and you can do gardening now. You can plant things. You can cross-pollinate, harvest flowers. I don't know why you need it in the game itself, but a screen capture mode for the game. Yeah, it's going for Animal Crossing. I'm sure there will be lots more as well in the future. Are any of us actually still playing? Or
I'm attempting wise, but not so much. Yeah.
I think that's the right wording. Colin, just quickly.
I'm currently operating a Windows phone due to dire circumstances.
That's no. I was doing that recently as well. I got back off that again. The real problem with that was, so after a little while, I started to like it again. However, I couldn't play all the Nintendo games. The biggest draw for me going back to an Android phone or a non-Windows phone, Fire Emblem Heroes 2 update. They had like a big trailer for it and such. And, I would like to play a little bit of that. Oh yeah, Windows phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way Harrison worded it was attempting to play some more is kind of how I would say my interest has been with Pocket Camp. I would like the idea of liking it more than I do. I've tried to play it a few times. I have very little in drive.
Okay.
And I will probably try it a few more times.
So it has to be Tomo effect.
Kind of. I think it's hard to compare it to Miitomo, just because it wasn't even a game. It wasn't necessarily even trying to be.
Yeah, it was more of a. It was a game. It was more of a social media type of.
Yeah. Has anyone here gone back to Miitomo? Like ever?
Nope. Not even with a new phone. I haven't even just decided to. I just have not. It just sits there.
That's the only thing which counts for me. I did download it and launch it when I was downloading things in general. I've not launched it since then. Had a bunch of updates. It looked quite different to how I last remembered it. It's got more stuff in the one.
It's grown up.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched it since.
But
hopefully of some more of these updates, it might feel a little bit more like the true Animal Crossing we know.
Well, I think it's best just like not necessarily true to get in there, but different enough where it does make sense for mobile. But it's just I think I don't know. I have to get more time to be on there, and I just haven't. So
that's fair enough. There's been lots of good games recently. And the next piece of news we have, we're jumping back to the Nintendo Switch. And we've got Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, which has been released on other consoles, but it's coming over to the Switch on February 22nd. And it's bringing along a new feature, which is local two-player co-op. Sounds pretty cool for the game that it is.
Amazing. What innovation.
Well, I think it's a nice add. It's an exclusive feature. The other editions of Championship Edition 2 don't have.
Really?
That
That's
game.
bizarre.
Exactly, that's my point. It's a nice little bonus, at least.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's like that. This is
But
the
when
selling
it's
point.
upsold-
It's local multiplayer.
Well, I mean, knowing with the Switch what you have with those Joy-Cons, and I say this is special for, like, I played the Namco Museum collection, and I said the best thing to actually buy that collection for is Pac-Man Versus. It really is the best version to actually have on there. But for this case, no. I mean, it's like it's that concept of the Switch where you just take it and it's like, where's the extra controller? It's like, oh, here it is with the Joy-Con. So
yeah, I've handled a single Joy-Con. I don't find it very comfortable.
Here you go.
So
Well,
I don't think it's viable as a single controller. But yeah, I guess
What's our background with? I guess we'll start with Championship Edition. Have any of us played Pac-Man Championship Edition?
Briefly, but it was at a friend's house, but not enough for me to kind of entice me to buy it. But I had fun with it.
I don't believe that ever was on a Nintendo system, right? It was just on Xbox Arcade and I think PS3 as well. The original Championship Edition.
I am double checking. It was in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was on. Yeah, it was only on. No. It actually did come to Nintendo 3DS.
Oh,
How bizarre!
Yeah, it was.
I've not played a 3DS version. I imagine it would at least look quite different because kind of part of the idea or the part of the edition was it had like this visual flair, which Pac-Man never had. Neon lights. It's hard to describe it in such a way, but look up some screenshots of videos of Pac-Man Championship Edition. It's a surprisingly nice looking game. It's obviously going for the retro enthusiasts or just people who liked Pac-Man originally, giving it a bit more snappier gameplay, putting a few more twists into it, and obviously leaning more into the online boards and challenges with friends and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've played the first one. I did enjoy it. It's like that sort of game which is completely up my alley. I've not played number 2. Actually, sounds like a good deal with me because I would likely take advantage to play co-op. And it would be fun just to play anyway.
he just wants to show off his Joy-Cons as much as he can.
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure you don't.
I need to order a new pair of Joy-Cons, not just because they're broken, just because I just need a second pair. I think the only ones I really want are the red ones. I need them.
You just get to change the color of your whole console. It's really quite cool.
Oh no, it works out well, and gray's fine. That's why I like it, but it's just I need to get the red series, but I gotta import it though. So, but no, I'll check this out though with Championship 2 edition. So I mean, again, it's just another collection. I'm like, hey, let's bring everything to the Switch, whether it's small,
indeed. And bring it soon, bring it fast.
Bring it to the Switch.
Next up.
That's the thing I really say.
Oh, well, do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm just saying.
It just seemed like that was like a point of contention. Oh, I guess you don't have a Switch, so you've not just downloaded anything which was broken for you, have you? Is this like come from a recent story?
No, not really. Yeah. It's just the fact that looking at the history of the Wii U, a lot of the ports were. I say a lot of the ports. Some of the ports were pretty broken. So yeah, I'm fine with ports as long as they work.
No, that's cool. And it's kind of the world we live in a sense. Like we have had some bad ports, but we've also had some bad ports which have been smoothed out rather quickly.
Yep.
One example of that. Well, I mean, look at WWE 2K18, which that's been getting slammed right now, but apparently it's a matter of whenever that's going to get fixed out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll get patched to buggery, so that's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also had some good ports as well. Actually, I want to give a shout out to Jules Wassam, who just, I think today, either today or yesterday, launched the Mutant Mudds collection on the Switch.
Ooh.
Which is, both, well, I say both, it's the original Mutant Mudds, it's Mutant Mudds Super Challenge, and a new third game, which is like a tile puzzle game called Mud Blocks, which was based off of a game called Super Bomb Monkey, I believe, which I never played. But very reasonable price by a very good developer. But yes, from everything I've heard, a very good port in that sense, as you would expect. But yeah, obviously solid 60 everywhere. But it's that puzzle game. You can also play it like this, vertical.
Hey.
You got the choice. You get the options, which is always good here.
Like options.
We do. Our next official news article. I don't know why it wasn't official because it's not on my list. Nintendo Switch sales. We get to talk about the numbers now.
From November.
And so, for November, yes. So let's start with the all platforms. And so, I guess we'll go down. We'll go down the list quickly, at least. So this is all platforms, so it's not just Nintendo stuff, but for context, you then know where Nintendo stuff is.
Yep.
And so we've got Call of Duty World War II, number 1, Star Wars Battlefront 2 at number 2, Assassin's Creed Origins, number 3, NBA 2K18, number 4, Madden NFL 18, number 5. And then we have Mario Odyssey, number 6. We've got FIFA 18 at 17. 7 even. Need for Speed Payback 8, Destiny 2 9. And then we have in 10 Pokemon Ultra Sun, 11 Pokemon Ultra Moon.
The fact they take up 2 slots is kind of funny. Yeah.
That is kind of fun because, combined, surely they'll be the next to Mario at the very least.
Yeah, I was going to say they should be up higher if you can actually combine them. Yeah.
So yeah, I just jumped then to the Nintendo ones, and at 15 you've got Breath of the Wild, 16 Mario Kart 8, and that does it for the top 20.
That's pretty good.
In terms of exclusives.
Yeah.
There's some games there which are on the Switch but are also on other systems like WWE and Just Dance. And even FIFA 18. It's hard to pinpoint down how much efforts are, to the Switch there. On the Switch itself, number 1 is Mario Odyssey, number 2 Mario Kart 8, number 3 Breath of the Wild, number 4 Skyrim, 5 Splatoon 2, 6 Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, 7 Sonic Forces, 8 Doom, 9 Pokken Tournament Deluxe, and 10 Just Dance 2018.
And I think we mentioned on here, though, that most of these don't, and this also includes the top 10 for overall, and I think this is listed for Destiny 2 as well, and even Wolfenstein 2, is that most of these games don't include, digital sales. So
that's right.
That's included. Because MPD doesn't include digital sales for some reason. No, a good month for them. But obviously, it's no surprise that the PlayStation 4 was the best-selling console that month because how could you easily beat a deal that they had going on during that Black Friday deal for selling a 200 a 1 terabyte console for $200, and of course then
that's insane. Yeah, so, but what I hear is that they took a huge loss doing that as well. So it's like okay, but yeah, no. They did well. For what is still a fledgling console, the Switch is doing really good.
Oh, definitely, yeah. On all fronts. Just on a personal level, been very happy. And that's kind of what we're about to jump into. Not just my personal happiness with the Switch this year.
I was going to say.
But our general thoughts and feelings of how Nintendo has been doing, what they've been up to of this year of 2017.
That's our segue.
Well, it's our segue. It's our feature now. We've gone from news to feature. Okay. And it's a sneak preview of what's to come next year, where Lewis is going to do a lot better segues from feature to feature.
I can't wait for that.
You do good segues. They're Lewis way
Lewis ways. That's
Lewis ways. No,
it's not even a thing. That's in the next year. I would have been able to do that and have an appropriate name for it, which would both be informative and entertaining. It's going to be a brand new show, but we're not there yet. We're in 2017, and so we've had a lot from Nintendo. We've had the Switch. We've had a lot of big games. Where to start? I think it's only appropriate we start with Colin, who's going to bring a slightly different perspective in a non-Switch world. How do you feel Nintendo has done this year for a non-Switch owner?
So my perspective is quite from the outside, really. in terms of Switch, I think they've done a remarkable. It's been like a year of resurgence for Nintendo. Really, I mean, if you look at it last year, they were really nowhere. You know, the Wii U was dragging them down. It was pretty much
Color
just
Splash.
Yeah, they didn't quite save the Wii U.
Well, let's just say from this time last year, we were all discussing of like just anticipating, the Switch event that was January. That's what we were anticipating. Like, what could this do? And obviously, there was that doubt behind everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like I said, from this time, it was. I think we resigned the fact that 2016 was just like, all right, let's just tough it out. And then hope for the best in 2017 with the Switch reveal.
This time last year, we knew it was called. Do we know it was called the Switch yet? Or was it still NX?
We did. It was. No. It was officially revealed in, I believe, October. October, I believe.
They showed the trailer video for it.
So we need to name the logo, and Skyrim would come to it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, but there was speculation that a lot of that video was like not. It was like done post or something. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, there was light at the end of the tunnel for last year, but I mean, compared last year to this year, it's night and day. Really, with Nintendo's standing right now, I feel like Nintendo's like risen back up to being a healthy competitor to the other two big names in the gaming space.
Yeah. But how has it been for you, Colin?
Has it been for me?
Yeah. You been enjoying their games?
Well, but not on the Switch. But yeah,
well, that's a question. But there have been 3DS games. There's been mobile games.
There have, but the thing is,
what they've been doing.
I haven't played too many new 3DS games. That's the issue. So yeah, this year's been pretty.
We had a new Metroid.
Which I've not yet played.
No.
You still played?
We had a new Fire Emblem. The beginning of the year.
Which I've never played.
There's been surprisingly a lot of non-Switch Nintendo stuff out there.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter.
It is true. We did get the new Monster Hunter, and it is splendid. But yeah, the 3DS support has also been really good. It's kind of surprising, really. I thought this 3DS support would die down when the Switch got fully announced. No. They seem like that's their second runner right now, which is good. I mean, I'm glad they keep it going. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. It sounds like that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it feels like almost you've been playing, and just from seeing what you've been streaming and such, is you've been playing some older games this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's been my focus.
That's cool. So yeah, you may come back to some of these. The 3DS titles this year?
Yeah, they're on the list.
But it's not been your focus personally.
I mean, I don't have a Switch, so that's kind of hard. But yeah, the 3DS stuff like Metroid, I really want to play. It's been on the list for a while. Fire Emblem Warriors is like a game that I didn't think I'd be too interested in picking up.
Ooh, yeah.
But generally speaking, it's
I've been playing a little bit more of that here and there. Yeah, I'm still going back to it.
I'm intrigued how the 3DS version holds up. But yeah, I feel like overall, been good. Good.
Okay, we'll leave that for now.
Well, I do want to ask though, Colin, for one thing, is like, has your opinion of I could assume like we had that excitement coming for the Switch right there from early 2017. Do you think though its success and the outpouring of games has kind of just made you say? I mean, obviously you had another option to play Breath of the Wild, and you chose to play it on the Wii U, which for anybody, got nothing wrong with that at all. If you felt you wanted to wait, do you feel like the games that you've seen so far and how they've been received critically, does that change your? I mean, did that at least at one point in time you're like, I need to get a Switch now?
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, I was pretty doubtful about the Switch. Just like after the Wii U, I was like, I'm not sure how it's going to pan out. But seeing how the Switch has taken off, I'm like, this is going to get a lot of support, and it's going to have the games. Eventually, it's going to have games like that I really want to play, i.e., Monster Hunter. Obviously, that's the main game I'm holding out for. We're not getting Monster Hunter Worlds, but I'm pretty sure
I'm surprised that
Not
was the
even
first one you
sure.
jumped to after it's very popular. We're going to get the games we want. Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a certainty yet. I would hope it.
We're not going to get World, obviously.
Okay, World, but I
Life
strongly
will
believe
find
the next one we're guaranteed to get. I think.
I'm sure we'll get some sort of Monster Hunter. Like
maybe
we'll find a way to get it on there.
They could probably finally, localize Monster Hunter XX or Double Cross.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just to answer your question, Harrison. Yeah, absolutely. The just kind of like the fact that third parties are more willing to jump onto the Switch is already like, okay, that's cool. That's what I wanted, because the Wii U got just bombed with zero third party support. Pretty much, it was just
After the launch period,
yeah, it was just kind of like, we don't care about that anymore. So it's like, okay, but yeah, I'm glad the Switch is doing well. I'm glad that things are coming up for it. So
yeah. It's funny to think of that. Like, you could do like a more, even more cynical version of this. But like the Wii U has more Call of Duties and Assassin's Creeds, and a few other big examples.
This is true.
And like that was meant to lead with like, oh, there's only one of each of those, but it actually had a couple of Assassin's Creed games. I think the Wii U.
It did, yeah.
So hopefully, like we'll see series like that do make the jump.
I'm surprised Origins didn't. Honestly,
it is
it's probably a bit too late in the development cycle.
It's way too late in that game to actually think about that. So
we've not quite seen a game of that scale yet on the Switch. I don't.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Skyrim.
There's a bit of an age gap between Skyrim and Origins.
There is, but if you're talking about just like games like large in scope.
Yeah, that's like large but also current.
Okay, running on current tech. Gotcha.
Yeah, because I've played some Origins, and that's a beautiful game. That is, but of that huge ridiculous scale as well. But you can go into the little details,
right? And
it's a very, very nice looking game. Yeah, like what I also wanted to look at. Is okay before we do jump on, like Harrison reminded me something very important. Breath of the Wild isn't just a Switch game. No, it is a Wii U game. Was released this year. That's a pretty big part of this year. Was the launch? So, in like, how was playing Breath of the Wild for you? Did it? I mean, it's been a little while since we've had the original talks around our impressions in general, but kind of looking back on it, like almost a year afterwards.
Yeah.
Does it still live up?
Honestly,
to your memories and such?
Breath of the Wild did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. I would say Breath of the Wild, if I was to, it's a fantastic game. I did find the story a little underwhelming. But the game as a whole,
I think that's fair.
Blew me away. Just
and you still got the fond memories. Wasn't just like hyper for time, but now you've had a chance to.
I still play the game now and think this game it looks incredible. It feels great to play. Just I don't play it for the story.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, Breath of the Wild still lives up.
Awesome. I think this is a good time to jump around as well. So Harrison, looking back on Breath of the Wild, it's been about 7 months or so since it launched. So not a massive amount of time, but we've had a chance to step back. Do you still feel the same way about Breath of the Wild as you did like whilst you were playing it, or has some of that died down? Is it?
Well, it's still easily one of my contenders for Game of the Year, between Odyssey and whatever I could probably think of. Like, it's just knowing the crap that's going on in the outside world and everything right now, I will say that this year has been a great year for, aside from the microtransaction stuff and the loot box controversies and stuff that we've seen in the industry, this year has been a phenomenal year in games. It really is, as far as that. I mean, and I could say the same thing for movies as well. I mean, it's better than what we had compared to 2016. Now, for Breath of the Wild, though, I still do feel the same, but yet this is someone who has not played the Champions Ballad yet, and yes, I need to get on that part of the DLC. Maybe once I get back and jump myself into that world, change easily onto that. So I still feel the same. I still feel the same about it. I'm glad that I put that 130 hours that I put into the game, and I hope to put a little bit more with this like when I go back into it. It's seriously one of those moments of a Zelda game that I was so happy to have the change that it needed. Something for it to move forward, and it was just letting go of those conventions that we hold so dear, but also realize that it needed to evolve into something else to kind of keep going. That's what Breath of the Wild was. It was just that new. It was the fork in the road. It's like, keep going through tradition, or go off in this uncharted territory, what we've known that it is, and just see where it takes us. And I hope they keep building up upon that. Now, again, the things that I didn't like with it, whatever, is like, I really wish I know the shrines served as the puzzles that we've seen in this game. I really do wish that the machine. Well, I'm forgetting the name of the beasts.
The Divine Beasts?
Divine Beast, sorry. Yeah, Divine Beast. I really wish there was more to the puzzle solving in that. I really wish there was that was it. And then, of course, I kind of did wish there was more to the whole bosses in each one instead of just a different, like, elemental bit to it. I'm like, eh. Because I think the only one was Urbosa's Divine Beast was the one that I felt like had the most puzzle elements to it. That
Absolutely,
I felt like I had a chance.
That was the most complex out of the four, definitely.
But yes, you're correct. And it's just, with the Breath of the Wild, though, yeah, my mind is still the same as I played right there. But I have to play the DLC to actually figure out where I am sitting at this moment. So
that's cool. And it is good, but having a chance to look back. And also, I've played a bit of the DLC, but I've still got the majority of it to go through still. It's cool to kind of be in both places, as it were, having fond memories of the game, but also there's still new stuff, which has just dropped. And also the that Master Cycle Zero, that little teaser, which is the reward for completing all the content there.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move beyond Zelda. We've had a lot of big games this year, and I'm not necessarily going to go through just the list in chronological order. Although I do love lists. Well, I think we'll just go round and we'll just discuss about games or just events from Nintendo that took our interest or we've got something to say about. And so what I would like to talk about is ARMS.
ARMS.
Because I think ARMS is quite a 2017 event.
It's something, yeah.
I'm not saying it's the thing which defines Nintendo's 2017, but I think if you look back later on, I think it was oh yeah, ARMS, that was something which happened in 2017. But I think ARMS is cool. I like how it was a brand new IP, and it's in a new, apart from Smash Bros, it really is a new genre for Nintendo, and it's very, very different type of game to Smash Bros as well, and it's also a game which heavily focuses on its online component, which apart from Splatoon 2, I mean that's quite a new thing for Nintendo to be doing. And it also feels kind of how I kind of word like new Nintendo fresh. And it might just be that's what Nintendo characters look like, and they don't design them very often. But I think it's a really cool mix of things, and I think it's something which it gets somewhat underappreciated. I also appreciate it's not a game for everybody. But I think it's a cool thing because I do really like when Nintendo just come out with something new. Like we all love our classics and our favorite franchises, and oh yeah, give us some more Metroid, give us some fourth Fire Emblem. Where's F-Zero? Where's Smash Bros? But every now and again they do go, here's a new thing. It's not what you've been asking for, but we're proud of it. Here it is. And yeah, I've been having lots of fun with it, and especially with local multiplayer as well as online multiplayer. And the fact they've been supporting it as well, kind of like Splatoon with events and such. And I'll let someone else talk in a moment, but I do also like the concept of events, even beyond ARMS, like with Splatoon 2 as well. I like this is also a thing Nintendo's doing and has been doing this year with Splatfest as well.
Yeah.
And so that's I wanted to give a shout out for ARMS. It is definitely a 2017 event for myself, and one I'll be looking back on. And it's a game I'm still playing anyway. And why not for ARMS?
No, it was a game that really did surprise me a lot going into, and as far as an experiment that I hope Nintendo takes more risk like that going in, whether it's just once a year or once every 2 or 3 years or so, whatever. I mean, I like seeing Nintendo do things of ideas like this. This is how things like get birthed around there. It's like you take the whole gameplay concept of, okay, think of Punch-Out, but with springy arms, and then let's just spread it out from there and add everything as far as add everything else, whether it's a new IP or something existing. Thankfully, it was this new because has characters that we can latch onto. Well, not latch onto, but to look at and you're like, I like the design. I like how this works.
I mean, it's kind of how Splatoon got its start. I mean, when they first showed it off, I was completely baffled by it.
Oh, same here.
And it completely took off. You know, Splatoon is becoming one of the more stronger franchises. Obviously, I think the Inklings are going to make it into Smash Bros, right?
Of course.
Wait,
how could they not? But yeah, I mean, especially with the obvious Japanese influence, game design in Japan would have, and Splatoon's popularity over there, I would be very, very surprised if we don't have Inklings in the next Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty obvious there. But no, it was just a great. Even though some things didn't take off with the game, but still, I'm just glad it exists. I really am.
Cool. But yeah, kind of one thing I want to talk about actually that I think the Switch kind of brought about is this resurgence of old franchises that kind of just come back out of nowhere. So No More Heroes is now a thing. Again.
Well, it was announced this year, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it's Super Bomberman R. I'm like, okay. Blast and Master Zero, and it's
yeah.
What's with Switch is bringing all these things back?
And some of the strange bit, a lot of that stuff was at launch or around launch.
I know, right? Yeah.
I think was Blast and Master Zero on launch as DLC?
I believe it was shortly after.
Yeah, sure.
It might have been the week or the second week after. Yeah.
It was very close
window, I think.
It was in launch window. I don't say.
But yeah, Super Bomberman, that was a launch game as well.
Yeah.
It was a lot Shovel Knight was launched as well, and it's got that retro feel, although it's not an actual retro character. Mm-hmm. Yeah, out of the gate, it's we're going to embrace both new and old at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, stronger indie support, which Nintendo's always been pretty good with as well. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they recently done it again. What is it? Square? Romance and Saga is out for Switch right now, I believe. Which is kind of bizarre. That's an old Square game from way back when. It's just amazing that all these old series are coming back. I mean, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime's just back. It got they showed a title screen for it. That's what people have been clamoring for ages. And they're like, oh yeah, it's coming to Switch. So yeah, I'm glad that these things are coming. You knew F-Zero and the world will be complete.
Yeah, that's what's going to take an F-Zero. And then
that's what
everyone will stop asking for things.
I mean, if they announced Eternal Darkness 2.
Oh, move the goalposts. Yeah, always still saying.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There's always the next one.
That's unlikely to happen. But it might.
It could.
You never know.
Yes. We live in crazy times. There could be a new Eternal Darkness on the horizon. Harrison,
yes.
What did Nintendo do this year?
They did a lot of things. They did a lot of things that I was worried that they might not. Well,
what did they do?
Yeah, what did they do? I think they released a new console.
Something like that.
But we can talk about the launch. Is there anything in particular?
Well, I think I just want to talk a little bit overall of the whole situation that we had with the device, and I know, I could just describe this year as almost 2017 as a Nintendo Renaissance. And I'm trying to think, we had such a good first, well, we still have 3 months left right now to go into the Switch's full year, but I'm I'm not, and you're holding the Switch up just to
any
Lewis,
chance he gets, I'm telling you.
I know. It's like, no, I'll have a window up and I won't even look at the screen. But now Lewis is actually trying to talk like it's like a phone, like a telephone.
Which one's the phone?
Your right hand. So yes. No.
When's the clock on that? Doesn't help.
When has a clock? But I know it's just amazing what they have done so much this year, because I know there was that bit of doubt after the Switch presentation that the preview event in January, which I didn't mind. It was things that was like, it kind of showed why Nintendo doesn't necessarily do live events, because, well, that and I don't know, when you do live events when you're actually translating at the same time and when you have everything prepared, it's going to be kind of a mess for people out there. But again,
there were some cross wires there. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. But it is a I was still excited to play Zelda at launch. I felt more excited than I was when I picked up my Wii U.
I will say, actually, if I've mentioned, that trailer for Zelda was awesome. I think that trailer showed off at the Switch event, the launch of the Switch event.
Yeah, the end of the event with
right at the end. I think that's still one of the best trailers I've done in a long time.
Yeah, they did, and I think that one, to be exact, there was that if you were still on the fence of that game, I think that's what sold you right there.
Oh,
that's why.
Yeah, I think that's the trailer that
like
confirmed voice acting as well. Yeah. Like voice acting. Oh, really? That was a big game changer.
It's not even limited or whatever. But going from the months out there, and now you had those doubts, like, oh, it has no games. But now I'm at this point, I'm like, my God, it's just like there's more games coming out the eShop each week, and for a site that I terminally write for, I had to put down my foot down and be like, I can review, but my God, this is too much. This is like we review most every single thing out there, and now I'm up to my knees of up to my shoulders of games, some which I can't get through. And to me, it's just, you had the doubt with like whether it was like with can Super Mario Odyssey work? That's received equal critical praise to Breath of the Wild. Then you had, is Splatoon 2 just basically Splatoon 1.5? No, that upped the ante a little bit more on there, and sure, we've seen little improvements through these free updates. ARMS, as I mentioned before, it was a bit of a surprise to me that I felt like it was like Nintendo being its weird, risky self. And I think that's what the theme for this entire year is, that we want Nintendo to have these same things that we see with its competitors. Yes, you want to be the best out there, whatever, but it's best if Nintendo just takes the risks. These are risks, but these are things that you just don't see the other competitors would do. They could do them, but they choose not to. And
I totally see the Sony version of the Switch. In like a few years, they're gonna have a hybrid system. I imagine hybrid systems might become a thing.
I don't know. And well, not only that, is like Nintendo filled a void here, and I think that's what they're doing to make this thing kind of go a little bit further out. And I've just been impressed all the way through for it. I mean, again, there's still lingering questions whether can this momentum still kind of continue on in 2018, and is third-party support going to slightly increase, and also what's going to happen with what we're going to see with the OS, which I feel like very limited. I like it, but it definitely needs tweaks to it. I mean, I really feel like things that need to happen. I mean, we're finally getting more video apps coming out, and I know Netflix is coming soon.
It still doesn't have Netflix? Wow.
No,
I didn't.
We just have Hulu right now. That's it. And I think, that's it. And of course, the Switch Online the paid online service, which we don't know as well. But again, Nintendo took risks this year, and like I said, what they took from the Wii U and they decided to reinvent it, and it's paying dividends. And to me, and I'm hopeful for what it's going to actually be next year. Which it's. We still don't know we know a few things coming out.
We don't know too much.
Yes.
I think this is a good time to transition. And the last thing I want to say about this year is that, concluding from the event they had in January to now, they did fulfill their promises. They showed us a bunch of games that they scheduled to come out for the Switch this year, and as far as I'm aware, they achieved them all. And I'm finishing up Xenoblade 2 now, and that was a game which, when I saw it in the January event, I was like, there is no chance.
You're gonna be fine.
No chance at all. I was like, if they're lucky, maybe they can get it in Japan, but even then, very doubtful. Nintendo, you shouldn't do that. You know it's going to come out in 3 years' time.
I was with you. I was with you on that one, Lewis. I mean, I think even up till January, up to like in E3, I said, I'm like, yeah, there is no way this is coming out. X came out almost a year ago. They couldn't be this far. I'm like, oh wow, because I actually did find out they actually started development of this in like 2014.
Yeah,
that's a really fast turnaround. Yeah.
So, but
like I said, parallel between X and 2 at some point then.
I mean, aside from every game that we saw from that point, we didn't really see a delay in anything.
So one, just a congratulations Nintendo for fulfilling those promises, because especially in this generation, there's been a lot of broken promises of both like Sony and Microsoft, especially at the initial reveal of their systems. They showed off a bunch of games which haven't materialized yet, and some which have just been outright cancelled. But it seems, everything Nintendo said or used as leverage to go, buy a Switch because we've got this coming. It's all out. None of this long-hanging fruit. And so, taking that a step forward, looking into what we would like to see next year from Nintendo. Harrison, you've already covered a few little bits.
I have.
What we'd like to see on the system itself in terms of apps and features. I'd like to just jump straight into games. So in terms of games which haven't been announced yet, or games which just don't have dates to them, what do you have any sort of I know I was told not to use this word, but basically, do you have any predictions of what you'd see from Nintendo?
I have a feeling that knowing that we had the bit of the big guns coming out in 2017, just to kind of sell the Switch concept and the portability and just the all in one with original titles, but also a few necessary ports here and there like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some still original. We will still see some original content that we see that hasn't been revealed. I mean, it's a given that we're probably going to get the January Direct. I think that it's a given.
Definitely, yeah.
It is a given right there to actually just lay out the first few bits of the months. I wouldn't be shocked if we were. Well, I keep going back and forth between are we getting a Smash 4 port, or are we a remaster, or are they just going to probably move forward with something new? I don't know what that's going to be. Then there's also the case that will they try to do something like port Mario Maker over and try to make that work on the Switch?
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Because nothing's safe at the moment. We have Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming, and of course we have 3.
Yeah.
And I'm again looking at the footage of that. I'm not sure what we're going to see as far as that. But then again, I remember when we saw the footage for Fire Emblem Warriors back in January, and it was just that we thought okay, that's not coming out. That's not coming out for a while. But then it actually did. So, but then again, we're dealing with two different types of games here.
Yeah, as far as true. That is very true.
But what I want to see though is I want to see more vibrant bit of a indies as usual this year. I mean, I do want to see. I hope we do see the No More Heroes 3. Or, name's escaping me. Travis Strikes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Getting that, but I do want to see Nintendo continue taking risks with some of these games like that. I really want to see more ARMS types of deals, but also whether it's big or even a smaller scale. But in terms of third parties, it all depends on how well Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus kind of turns out. I feel like that we saw what Doom can be done on here. That is a magical port that you could probably see as wow, they actually did do this. I'm just interested with that coming out, how it's going to fare probably going in, because how FIFA 18 did not sell as much expectations with EA, even though it was custom made for the Switch.
Yeah.
And that did not sell out because that's EA's premier title to sell, more so than Madden.
Right.
And what are we going to see further on? But I don't know. I knowing that EA, we're not getting that many single player focused games from these days anymore. So, but
yeah.
For predictions, I just want more indie. I want to see more indies. I don't think we're going to see. We'll see footage of Metroid Prime 4, but I don't think we're not. Same with Pokemon for Switch. There's that, and
I kind of imagine that it won't be this E3, but next E3 it'll be all Metroid themed, like they did with Zelda and then like Mario.
Really?
So yeah, we'll have like the Metroid themed E3. That'd be cool. Look forward to that.
There would be,
So,
but like I imagine, like I think just because the two names are mentioned side by side there, I could see both Metroid and Pokemon coming out in the same year.
ooh, yeah.
And if they did, I'm not sure you could have as much as cool as it would be.
Yeah.
A Metroid-centric show floor. When
If
you
you want
want a brand new
Pokemon,
Switch Pokemon game, people haven't played.
Maybe. But then again, you would want to give. I mean, yeah, Pokemon's a guaranteed bestseller.
Absolutely.
But don't you think you would want to kind of give that extra push for Metroid, where it's like, you know what? Even though Pokemon, people, even when you announce it and don't have that much of a stage, it's gonna sell regardless. I'm just saying,
sure, but I'd still revert back to the old traditional model where you've just got booths for lots of different things, and you can have like different size booths. But instead of the whole Breath of the Wild, yeah, we've just got basically one booth this year, but it's Metroid today. I think that'd be too much.
I don't mind that idea for whatever. Like, again, that comes down to the risk of what companies would not do. I mean, you don't usually see Sony or Microsoft focusing one, like, just their booth solely like, hey, here's solely on Gears or Halo or just Uncharted. They could do that. They could do that. They could do that and be fine, but they choose not to. Whereas Nintendo, with these past two E3s, just turning the whole booth area into like a Disneyland of Zelda and Mario, I mean, it works to the advantage because it kind of gives that. I mean, you have these other games littered here, but you had that focus on there. But like, hey, this is big. But yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I also just wanted to add from the live chat, Mr. Cyan has added their own prediction. Smash 4 Ultimate plus DLC. Yeah, he's going to name free/pay things like Ice Climbers, Inklings, etc. And a replacement for Smash Tour.
I just want to hear
So that kind of bridges the gap between like what we've had with deluxe games and a brand new game, which is what I would like to see at this point, I think.
Yeah, I just want to hear the Super Smash Bros. Like announcer guy do the Super Smash 4 Ultimate.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, so I mean, going forward, all I would like to see is Nintendo to focus on the IPs they have, which they haven't used for a while. And there is one that we know of that's been in development for a while that they've never seen anything on. That's Pikmin 4, which Mimo at one point said was nearly done.
You did?
And like, we have not since, anything of it.
We've had a Pikmin game since.
Yeah.
Pikmin 4, no.
So I want to focus. Yeah, I would like to see more of like Punch Out. I think Punch Out for Switch would work. I just don't want it. I feel like it might clash a bit with ARMS, but it could be two different games.
Probably you would have to wait some time, whatever, if that's gonna.
Absolutely, definitely. So yeah, I mean things like that. I'm trying to think of. I mean, normally at this point I would say Metroid, but that's actually getting a bit of a push these days. Honestly,
how about F-Zero? Is there any chance we have an F-Zero game next year?
F-Zero is now like the new Metroid.
It's more the new. Yeah, it's in the timeout now. But I think I mentioned previously, past years, that you kind of look at like Fast Racing New as like has it served a spot because like I think this is the case of F-Zero's identity. It's like what you had to kind of change things up to kind of be relevant. I mean, I think Star Fox is facing the same thing after what Zero happened. It's like, yeah, you had this very divisive control scheme, but now you're looking at like, well, did we peak too early in the series and we just need to change something? So that's what's holding that thing back.
No, totally. But I feel like F-Zero has more like charm and character than the Fast series. But yeah, they do. They are pretty much the same game at this point. Honestly, I want to see a return to form from like the Mario Sports series. I think that'd be kind of cool if they actually brought those back, like full RPG mode and all that stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
So like going back to the like a sport, as it were. So not a collection, not a variety of.
Not a collection.
So just going it full in with the RPG mode.
Yep. Bring it all back.
Custom characters as well. All that stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why not?
That'd be cool. Which one should they do first? It's either obviously golf or tennis, unless you want to add.
Normally they start with tennis. I think tennis is usually the first one to come out. I mean, so yeah, probably tennis. I think it's easier to make a tennis game than it's a golf game.
I I would like to see that. I would like to play it on the Switch. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. And I think
I would personally push them to do golf first.
Yeah, golf. Yeah,
I think
golf is the
but
better
we've
game.
got Golf Story. It's
Oh yeah.
Actually, this sign in the chat actually pointed out like Strikers. So no Strikers game. Yeah, no one is in ages. Like just a week. Come on.
Next level games could probably help that out. I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Camelot to do the RPG bits in between, and perfect. Or would that be level 5 now? I'm not sure any.
That'd be level 5 doing that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably.
Their expertise. Brilliant. All right. I guess I'll check out some ideas myself. Like one of these things, I'm surprised it hasn't been mentioned. It's something which I think it's been so long now. People almost start to forget. But what is Retro Studios up to? We still don't know.
That's a good point.
Surely 2018 is the year we find out what they're up to.
We find out it's Donkey Kong Country 3. Oh, well, Donkey Kong Country Returns.
3 is already remade. Happened a little while back. But yeah, I'm hoping we have both the announcement and the release for Retro's game in 2018.
I mean, the last game came out 2014. Was that Tropical Freeze 2014?
Tropical Freeze came out in February 2014.
That's such a long time, like 3 years. So yeah,
which it seems even longer than that.
Yeah.
But I guess it has been a while for any announcement of what they're up to, let alone the next thing coming out. But yeah, I mean, it's plausible that schedule-wise, their game could be out next year.
It has to be a new franchise they're working on, surely. A new Nintendo franchise, I should say.
I have a feeling they may be repurposed for something, like something they're trying to revive. I don't know what it could be, but that's the back of my mind thinking they could probably do something like that. But you have to realize that some of these people that have been with Retro are no longer there. They're now with Armature, which, Mark Cini's there. The people who were responsible for the first 3 slate of the Metroid games. And now we also don't know who's making Metroid Prime 4. We may find that out soon. There's that rumor, there's that rumblings that Bandai Namco could be helping working on this, but I don't know how many truth to that is. I'm still kind of reading my tea leaves and stuff about how id Software is kind of and Bethesda's joining forces to help out or something. I don't know, but that's the fanboy in me. No, I really do hope we find out more about Retro's new game this year. I feel like.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my one of my predictions, as it were. I'm still sticking to my guns. I reckon it's some sort of third-person action adventure where you play as a human, and it's a bit more, to use a poor phrase in the gaming terms, a bit more mature in that sense. Like there will be actual guns and such, a bit like an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider.
Right.
There's no foundation for that at all, but
I mean, it kind of goes against their name. They're called Retro.
And you brought up the same argument last time, but I'm sticking to my guns.
Well, okay.
You got their own predictions what they're up to. They can revive Donkey Kong Country again and again and again. I will sit over here with hope and dreams.
Hey, as long as they're good, I'm fine with it. So.
Until they're crushed again and again and again. Something else, something which is scheduled to be released next year, we still don't know anything about it, is Fire Emblem for Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
So a traditional Fire Emblem game.
I could probably tell you it would be a strategy game.
Yeah. Okay.
Swords.
With swords. Any other weapons? Axes.
Yeah.
Any others?
Spears.
Maybe. Some spears.
Cool. Maybe.
Turn-based, grid-based, Japanese-based combat.
Much like I would imagine, yes.
Cool. But I think, with the direction the series has been, I feel they've had so much ambition with the series recently. And it's almost been limited by the form factor of the hardware it's been on. Like the production value of those cinematics and such for those 3DS games go far beyond the resolution of the 3DSs.
Yeah, true.
They must have been made in HD.
One of the best examples of that is look at the Captain Falcon trailer in Smash, because it was done in the Fire Emblem style.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
gorgeous.
That's true.
Yeah, it would be cool to see like the actual game in that art style.
Oh,
And, like a very
the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're making these sort of CG, and we've seen like Fire Emblem Warriors looks pretty cool, and I'd imagine because it's a lot smaller scale in actual Fire Emblem battle, it's going to look even nicer than that, and because it's a dedicated game as well. And so I'd imagine you have like these cinematic like scenes where the camera very smoothly sweeps down into the action and they fight, and then it smoothly pops back up without any sort of other transition.
Nice little transition, yeah.
Yeah, just camera pops down, they attack, it pops back up, and you're in your grid again. I think it could be a great mix, especially the portable play for a strategy game. I've gone over this topic a few times. That's something I'm personally looking forward to. Looking forward to more information. I reckon that's going to be, especially for the Japanese audience, that's going to be a big game of next year. And I think it's going to keep me busy. And one that Harrison mentioned, I'm going to back up as well. I reckon we will see Mario Maker 2 next year. Surprise announcement and release shortly afterwards. I reckon, it's happening. Mario Maker. Another one of those little games, as it were, get chucked in. Anyway, anything I want to chuck in for next year?
Actually, I was going to say something that might make you smile, Lewis. Going back to my Lost franchise thing, what if we got Switch Wars? Which is the spiritual successor to Advance Wars.
What, released?
How cool would that be?
That would be very cool. I don't think it's happening, especially with Fire Emblem happening. Not in the same year, surely not. Same team.
Yeah, it'd be a bit close, but yeah.
But the good news is that we do have Advance Wars style clones coming out by indie developers. There's at least two. I can't think of the names of either of them.
Does it have a solid release date though? I don't think it does.
Wargroove is one.
Wargroove's one, and is it Tiny Metal?
Tiny Metal. I believe that is Tiny Metal. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And so well, there's options. It makes me happy, makes me warm inside. And now, if there was an official Switch Wars or Advance Wars Switch, I don't know what they call it, that would make me even happier as well, having that extra option.
Be cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was fun to run that.
Cool. All right. This is the last call for 2018 knowledge.
2018. I expect great things. Maybe not to the level as the Insanity as far as these hit after hit, but I expect some good things probably going in, and I hopefully the momentum of this thing kind of continues on. It'd be an interesting spot to see Nintendo is knowing that like you slowly gotten out of this hole that you did with the Wii U, even though the 3DS kind of just slightly alive, but now it's interesting to see what goes forward, and it'll be interesting to see where 3DS is placed in this year. Whether it's that's one thing to look forward to. But but I'm sticking to my gun.
It'll be tough for 2018 to match 2017, just by the fact that in 2017 we got Zelda and Mario in the same year, that's crazy, So.
And a bunch of other things in between as well. It wasn't just games good with big gaps, because sometimes Nintendo's done that. They've had we've had a couple of really great games, but there's nothing else. But we've had stuff. Hopefully they keep the trend at least of constant releases, even if they're not all huge. Keep that momentum going, whether it's first party or third party, but interesting things to play, choices to go out for. Very much looking forward to it. Hopefully there'll be a big Nintendo Direct in January. In terms of show notes, we are taking a break next week because
1 week
we're gonna enjoy the holidays and enjoy some Christmas
time.
Christmas time.
Catch up on some things finally, and I got a lot of gaming, and then of course this time's always like, okay, see all my prestige movies, during award season. So I do. Like there are times where I'm like, I want to see 3 movies in a row during a cheap day. That's what I do.
Wow.
I've done it before. It was interesting. I don't know what. I may try it again.
Okay, and to self-plug, as it were, although there won't be a Nintendo Voice episode, there will be a Nintendo Voice Extra episode going out between now and the next time we record. So if you're that anxious And after seeking medical advice, what you should do, head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Voice. You can chuck us some support. And if you do so, some extra podcasts can be available to you as well as some access to super topic questions and extra bits as well. Those sort of things are also getting revamped in the new year, as well as the show itself. So lots of cool things to look forward to. The show that you will return to next year is going to be the Nintendo Voices, our Game of the Year awards, essentially. And we'll also be going over some super topic questions. We do have quite a few to go through, which is awesome. So if you've not already, please chuck some in. If you have already, we'll be going through them soon. And let's do what we usually do. Let's go around the three of us. And we'll let you know how you can get hold of us if you would like to. And anything else we've been up to in the gaming world or otherwise. Harrison, how can people get hold of you?
You can reach me at Twitter at @HMilfeld, and if you want to reach me through the Switch and become a friend, I have my friend code image posted at the top of my Twitter profile. And if you want to check my other work, I occasionally write reviews for PureNintendo.com, and at this point, I have been it's been an amazing year right now for games, and also it's been a bit of an interesting transition for us right now. We've reached 100 episodes, and now we have a Patreon. And now we have a lot of things that we've been discussing, trying to change up and mix things up a little bit. So it's interesting year. Interesting that what's going to be in a nice way to cap off just a good year of Nintendo. All I say.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And Colin, how can the fine folks of the internet get hold of you?
The fine folks. They can find me through Twitter.
they're fine. They're fine folks. Come on.
They're very fine
They're
folks.
lovely.
Twitter handle is @HardyandBard, which is, as usual, how you think it's spelled. You can find me streaming, although I won't be streaming over the Christmas period because I'll be far too busy. But you can watch my old streams, I guess, at mixer.com/HardyandBard. That's where that's my home for streaming these days.
Where you do mixes.
It is.
Yeah. For myself, I don't mix. But you can find me on Twitter if you're a tweeter. And the name you need is Lusion, and the way you spell that is LEUVSION. Keep it simple. That's all it is. I just want to thank everybody for listening. If you've made it this far into the show, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And also, just in general, it's the end of the year, and so I hope you've had a good year. I hope you're going to have a good year going forwards, and assuming you celebrate it, have a Merry Christmas, have a happy holiday, enjoy your time, relax, have fun, play some games, do what makes you happy.
But most importantly, stay safe.
And stay safe.
That is
There you
important. And also, we hope you were blessed with lots of games, and maybe a new Switch console if you haven't gotten one.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
That would be, wouldn't it, Colin?
Yeah. Don't. That's me. Because I don't have one.
Oh, sorry. I'll try not to remind you anymore. Anyway, I'm going to have to close down the show. As I warned previously, as soon as this ends, I will be playing some Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And so, with all that said, thanks once again for listening or watching. And this has been Nintendo Voice.
Thanks for the great year, everybody. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, it's been a great year, folks. Thanks for a decent 2017. Here's for a good 2018.